All right, so let's talk about this debate. I think the debate was horrible. It was almost unwatchable. I'd like to see the ratings on that debate because that was a shit debate. And the only time it got a little interesting, everybody tried to shame Julian Castro for mixing it up with Joe Biden. Hey, this is why people don't. That's not why people are turned off by politics. People are turned off by politics because you guys don't fucking advocate for people. That's why. Because you're all gaslighting bullshitters who are bought and sold, okay? Bought and paid for, bought and paid for. That's why people are turned off by politics. Because they vote for Barack Obama, they get fucking Romney care anyway. That's why people are turned off by politics. People aren't turned off by politics because someone insults Joe Biden. That's not why people are turned off.
But he did get dunked on pretty quick there by Castro. It didn't last long.
Yeah, he goes, this is a debate.
Buttigieg's big, civility moment did not last long. He was like, this is why people... And then real quick, Castro was like, it's called a primary, Pete.
Yeah, this is the debate.
We're not running for mayor, pal. It's called a presidential primary.
I had somebody...
Big leagues, buddy.
Yeah, we're running to be the most powerful person in the world. Sorry, Steph.
I had somebody today say, well, but why do they have to argue?
So here is, to me, I'm going to show you what I think is the entire... First of all, the debate sucked because what you wanted to see was Joe Biden go at it with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. That's what you wanted to see. That's what everybody wanted to see. What did we do? We end up talking to Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker, Andrew Yang, and who actually, at least he's interesting when he talks. Andrew Yang, every time he talks, he's got a new idea that no one else is talking. So I would say more Andrew Yang. I didn't really mind that we heard from Andrew Yang that much, but I did mind we heard from Amy Klobuchar. I did mind that we heard too much from Cory Booker.
You don't like to hear from Cory Booker?
Oh, my God, that's great.
He's that guy in drama class that tried way too hard.
Wow. Well, you know what, Jimmy? You did omit a name that I wanted to see, and I wanted to see Tulsi Gabbard on that stage, especially with the advent of September 11th this week. You would think
they would have a veteran who's currently serving as a major in the military who signed up because of 9/11. You would think that they would want that voice on the stage in the middle of 7 wars. No. Don't want that. You know what we got to get? We got to get
Pete Buttigieg.
We got to get Pete Buttigieg. We got to get the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. The mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Hey, I'm my block captain. I bet there's more people on my block than in fucking South Bend, Indiana. How about if I run for president? I'm my block captain. The mayor of South. That's your accomplishment, and you suck at that. You're a shitty mayor.
You mean he's not doing a good job with the police force over there?
No, not at all. So, again, the whole debate sucked. It was a shitty debate. And I'll show you what Bernie's voice is. Sounds like he's been gargling with gravel and sand. And what is that? Well, what that is again, Bernie surrounding himself with people who aren't the brightest. The last time, again, I tell you his campaign, you grab people that you know, right? So Bernie grabbed people that he knew. Look at his old press secretary. Now she's working for Joe Biden. That was a bad hire by his campaign. And by the way, they didn't go on the Young Turks, right? At the time in 2016, Young Turks owned alternative progressive news. They were it. They didn't go on Cenk's show until March of 2016. That's how, as they were being shut out of all the mainstream media, they didn't go on Cenk's TYT until March of 2016. That's how smart his campaign was last time. And this time, they let him go on TV, sounded like he's about to die. What you're supposed to do, dummies, in the fucking Bernie Sanders campaign is you're supposed to have him pull back. He's 70-something years old. You have him pull back the day or two before the debate so he doesn't blow out his voice, which is what you didn't do, and he blew out his voice, and then he sounds like he's death on stage. The worst performance he had so far because of it. He already has a horrible speaking voice. Let's make it even worse. Let's make everyone think he's sick. That can I throw it to my panel on that? Did you think that was smart? When I heard Bernie speaking, I'm like, these assholes. I bet he was doing a speech 5 minutes before the fucking debate. What did you think of it?
Jimmy, I agree completely.
Okay.
You know, here he has an access to a platform to communicate his great ideas. You know, we don't have Tulsi Gabbard on that stage. We're wondering the difference between Warren and Bernie and how that's going to be revealed to itself. And then he has this gravelly voice that actually, it wasn't inspiring. Like it made me kind of like, oh no, I got to listen. It's great what he was saying. I was happy the things that he was able to communicate. I just think it fell short. He needed a rest.
He sounded sick. He sounded like he needed a rest. He doesn't need to connect with me. He doesn't need. I'm already connected. He doesn't need to connect with you or Ron. He needs to connect with people he hasn't connected with yet.
I mean, when I saw him Sunday in Iowa City.
And how did he sound?
He sounded fine, but he was doing, I think, about 5 events all throughout the state, which on one hand, it's like, yeah, that's great, but they probably overdid a little bit, and he should have had a day or two to recover for the debate, especially when you know it's going to be 9 against 1.
Yes.
And actually more than 9 against 1, because let's throw the moderators in there,
and
too.
all the moderators, too.
So you're alone.
So again, another tactical blunder by the fucking Sanders campaign. The strength of the Sanders campaign is not his advisors. It certainly isn't his political strategy. The strength is the fact that he's unbought. That's his strength, that people think that he's a straight shooter because he's not taking their money. That's what his strength is. That's all of his popularity is coming on the strength of that and, of course, his policies, which come out of that. It's certainly not because they're making genius moves behind the scene. Hey, I know, we'll have him show up and look like he's knocking on death's door. Here's Joe Biden, and so we'll talk more about Bernie's voice actually after this clip. But let me show you this clip because to me this was the entire debate. It's Joe Biden sounding like Sean Hannity trying to pretend that he's being a grown-up liberal. And this is everything that's wrong with the Democratic Party, which is okay.
$740 billion.
So he's talking about his health care plan only costs $740 billion, less than $1 trillion. But Bernie's costs how much? Let's see.
$740 billion. It doesn't cost $30 trillion. $3.4 trillion a year, it turns out.
So this is what guys like Sean Hannity do, or someone like Chris Cuomo or Wolf Blitzer does. People who are in the pocket of the healthcare industry and big pharma. What they do is they give you half a story, which is what he's doing. So he's gaslighting the people he wants to vote for him. This is called gaslighting because he's giving you half the facts, which then lets you draw the wrong conclusion. He's trying to scare you by saying it costs $30 trillion. Guess what the alternative is? Costs $50 trillion. The healthcare plan you and Barack Obama instituted costs $50 trillion. Bernie Sanders' plan, which is shared by the rest of the Western world, costs $30 trillion, which is a huge savings. And that's why that's why he's a loser. And that's why the Democrats are losers. Because they let a guy. This is their standard bearer. This is Barack Obama's vice president for 8 years, and he comes out sounding like Sean Hannity. Here we go.
$740 billion. It doesn't cost $30 trillion. $3.4 trillion a year, it turns out, is twice what the entire federal budget is. That's before.
This is what they say on Fox News. This is what they say on Fox and Friends. This is what they say on CNN. This is what Wolf Blitzer says. This is what Wolf Blitzer said. This is what Jake Tapper says. This is what Jake Tapper says.
You know who says all this stuff? The same people who tell us Biden's the front runner.
Yes.
It's almost like there's an agenda.
Yeah. And it's just amazing to watch a Democrat stand on stage and say, we can't do it. You can't have single payer like the rest of the world. After he just got done saying, there's nothing we can't do. We're America. Which is his opening statement. Remember that part?
Yes.
His opening statement was, there's nothing we can't do. We're America. And then he's like, how can we possibly pay for the health care like the rest of the world does?
And then Julian Castro was like, you just said there's nothing we can't do.
Exists now without interest on the debt. How are we going to pay for it? I want to hear tonight how that's happened. So thus far, my distinguished friend, the senator on my left, has not indicated how she pays for it.
Forgot his name.
Yeah, forgot
Warren's name.
Forgot Elizabeth Warren's name. How do we pay for it, Joe? We kick rid of the middleman of insurance companies, giving us huge savings because everyone's covered from birth to death. That's how, and then we negotiate the drug prices like the rest of the world does. You know how Canada pays half as much for their drugs as we do? So, and this is the guy who wants to run for president, and he sounds like the dumbest guy in the room. He sounds like Archie Bunker. He sounds like my dad talking about fucking why he's voting for Reagan. That's what this guy sounds like. This is your standard bearer? And this is how bad it is in the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders has already pledged his vote to this fucking guy if he wins. That's not a revolution.
And the senator has, in fact, come forward and said how he's going to pay for it, but it gets him about halfway there. There's a lot of other things that need to be done. I have a bold plan to deal with making sure we triple the money for at-risk schools that are...
Did he not just change the subject right there? I have a bold plan that triples the money for at-risk schools. What are you talking about? We're talking about healthcare, Joe.
He diverted to schools a couple times. Like randomly. Like there was that other question where they were just like, hey, you've had a racist past for 40 years. Have you changed it all? And he was like, poor schools are bad. Am I right? Poor schools. They're pretty lame.
Turn on the record player.
Turn on the record player. That's the problem.
Title I schools from 15 to $45 billion a year. But I go down the line, and each of the things we're talking about, I lay out how I can pay for it, how I can get it done, and why it's better.
There you go. How about some big ideas? So here is the moment that I think is the weirdest moment of the whole night. There's a couple of weird moments. Joe Biden, again, went into a word salad at one point. I'm not going to show you that. I'm going to save that for the live show because we're all going to laugh about it. But did you, when he's talking about turn on the record? You saw that part?
Turn on the record.
Turn on the TV. I mean, a record. What are you doing?
You got words. You should hear them so you can use them better than I am. You can.
Why not just click on the 8-track?
Come on, Daddy-O.
Where's the Victrola? Hey, Daddy, how I love you, how I love you. So Bernie starts to respond by telling Joe the facts that everyone knows by this point, unless you don't want to know, that even Trump voters are hip to single payer, Joe. Joe Biden to the right of Trump voters on single payer. Just keep that in mind. Okay.
Let's be clear, Joe. In the United States of America, we are spending twice as much per capita on health care as the Canadians or any other major country on earth.
Okay, that's a great point. I guess Joe Biden doesn't know that. We pay twice as much. And the reason why we pay twice as much is because our government, our representatives are being bribed by big pharma and health insurance companies to keep it that way. And so we get screwed. That's called fascism. So when the government comes together with corporations to screw their own citizens, that's fascism. That's what's happening right now in America. And Joe Biden set this system up. This is him and Barack Obama's healthcare plan. It's really Mitt Romney's. It's a right-wing healthcare plan that Joe Biden instituted without a public option. And so he just says...
Be clear, Joe. In the United States of America, we are spending twice as much per capita on health care as the Canadians or any other major country on earth.
This is America.
Yeah, but America...
People clapped.
And people clapped.
What were they clapping at?
I think they were maybe clapping at Bernie for saying that, and then it just can't... I think that's what it is, but...
Oh, I hope so.
What does that mean? This is America. So I'll play it again. Let's try to figure out what he's trying to say.
Joe. In the United States of America, we are spending twice as much per capita on health care as the Canadians or any other major country on earth.
This is America.
Yeah, but Americans don't want...
Yeah, Joe Biden's like, yeah, this is America, Bernie. We spend twice as much as the rest of the world, and we're proud of it. Like, that's what he's saying. Like, this is America. We don't want effective, cost-efficient health care. that covers everybody. It's America, Bernie. We let people die in the streets. 500,000 people are going to go bankrupt this year underneath the healthcare plan that Barack and I put in. This is America. We fuck people over when they get sick. This is America. What did that mean? This is America.
I think it's either what you're saying or he was double checking on where he was at.
I think that was it.
It's
I think
one
he
of the
was
two.
like, this is America, right, Bernie? Are we in America?
Are we in like a world forum or something? What are we?
I'm on stage. What are we doing? Is this the Price is Right?
Is this an election?
I'm gonna go higher.
I bid $1.
Higher. $1.
Jimmy, will you?
You're gonna say 30 trillion? I'll say $1.
Hey, will you rewind it again so people can catch Elizabeth Warren's
Yeah,
expression?
so watch Elizabeth Warren's face when he
Let's
says it.
be clear, Joe. In the United States of America, we are spending twice as much per capita on health care as the Canadians or any other major country on earth.
This is America.
Yeah, but Americans don't want to pay twice as
She was like, what the F does that even mean? She was like, whoop, there's a gaff.
Do it one more time.
Okay.
country on earth.
This is America.
Yeah, but Americans don't want to pay twice as
Okay, it's
Well,
America.
he's factually correct.
Finally.
He got one.
So I don't know what. So Joe Biden sounds like Archie Bunker. Joe Biden sounds like Homer Simpson. Is what Joe Biden sounds like, Homer Simpson, in the worst way possible, without being actually funny.
And actually, the audience did sound like they were applauding his America line.
They were. They're like, oh, it's fucking America.
We got it. It's
we
America."
don't want health care like the rest of the world where you don't go bankrupt and everything costs half as much. We're Americans. We're wasteful. We have corporate profits and corporations that take over our good. We have crony capitalism. We
want the freedom to pay twice as much as everyone else.
yeah, that's
It's our
right.
freedom.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, when I have to go into my pocket for a copay, I'm like, liberty. When they deny me an MRI, I'm like, God, only in America, man. Free as a bird. I'm free as a bird.
America.
Oh, no MRI. I'm free of that shit. Hey everybody, we're doing a live show every Sunday in October in Hollywood, California at the Sycamore Tavern. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets and become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every month. Become a premium member. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com and sign up. Thanks for your support.